I am speaking with Deven and Topher with Dearly Departed. And starting out, guys, I want to talk about this cover that you've released here, Fleetwood Mac's Dreams. It's a fantastic cover. I love what you guys did with it. You did great. Can you talk a little bit about what made you decide to go with that particular song for your cover?
That's actually a funny story. I remember Topher was playing it on his acoustic guitar, and I don't know the reasoning why you were always playing it. Maybe it was just one of your favorite jams.
No, it was stuck in my head all the time. And I came home from work one day, and I'm like, I just sat down and I just did like a one-take video and posted it on Facebook, just for S's and G's, so to speak.
Yeah.
And Deven really resonated with him, and then it really didn't have anything to do with like the whole viral videos going around and everybody wanting to jump on the bandwagon. It was just more of like he felt it, and we were in the middle of pre-production already on the new album. So,
oh yeah, I hadn't even heard the song. I was like, whatever you're playing, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's make it a rock song.
All right, cool, very cool. And you mentioned that full album. Can you talk a little bit about that process? How has that been putting that together? Especially during this last year, what with the pandemic and everything going on.
Shockingly, unbelievably easy. It was very cohesive. Our team is very on point. It's unbelievable what we have as a group, and that includes everyone from our outside consulting, like with other musicians.
With other,
just everything we've done up to the point of recording. It was just extremely. It was a breeze.
It was very smooth. It was almost we had two members leave, and then we had one member join, and that was Topher as the new singer.
Mm-hmm. There was no drama either. It was awesome.
It was just we were all on the same page. All we would do is just sit in a room and write on acoustic guitar, and then we'd throw it up in Pro Tools in our bedroom, and then we'd go to a studio and redo it all over again.
Right.
And it was just much simpler.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Very cool. And I was kind of I was looking at your Facebook page before, and you were kind of talking about how with this you as a band did experience some hardships with members leaving and things like that, and then this Dreams cover really kind of helped revitalize you guys moving forward. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. We did not know the direction to go because we were originally a metal band. Mm-hmm. And we were doing, I remember we had shows with Beartooth. We had just a lot of dream come true occurrences fall through because of COVID. And that hit the members pretty hard. And we just weren't feeling, the whole metal thing just wasn't really working for us, I don't think. And it wasn't natural. It wasn't ourselves. And then once I started working with Chris, it's like I said, it's just it all came together so much easier, and the first thing that gave us confidence was Dreams, and they were like, all right, let's keep doing songs like that.
Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff. There was a bunch of irons in the fire up until that point. With my band falling apart up until that point, I kind of kept going solo with Deven, and Deven and I producing. We didn't know what we were doing, we knew what we were doing, but we didn't know what direction we were heading with it. It was just we were just doing it. It wasn't, we were trying to follow a genre. We weren't trying to be anybody but who we are, we just poured ourselves into it. It was basically like that. We weren't, we were looking to our favorite artists for inspiration, but we weren't looking for a genre or anything. We just kind of let it happen. And it was this get it done attitude, where we just we just did it. We didn't fight it. We didn't do anything. We didn't let anyone get in our way either.
Not even ourselves. If there's an idea we bickered on, we're like, whatever. Just get the song done. We'll have that idea in other songs. Whatever.
Yeah, it was too smooth.
And speaking of inspirations, like you said, you tried to just kind of do your own thing and be your own band. But I guess for the two of you, or just as a band as a whole, who were some of the bands that you guys looked up to throughout the years?
Oh man, I have such a broad spectrum growing up on classic rock and country music. But Guns N' Roses has been a big influence on Deven and I both before we even knew each other. So that was kind of a great coming together when they were in it, like Slash being the reason I started playing guitar. But then I looked to Alice in Chains. I'm a big Lane Staley fan, so being a vocalist, he was kind of my idol. Mm-hmm. between him and Scott Weiland, like Scott Weiland is like the picturesque, eccentric vocalist, like that anybody would want to be, aside from like David Bowie or, other guys like that. But yeah, I have such a wide spectrum. But currently this album, I think our influences are, there's a lot of more modern, like Shinedown and Guns N' Roses and stuff like that influenced in what we're doing. So.
I love like elements of classic rock,
absolutely,
mixed in with like the poppy side of modern rock, and like when you put it together, it's just so cool. It's like,
yeah,
I like bands that don't really trip about genres, like Linkin Park. I don't write like them, but just like whatever's in your head, instead of just writing all this guitar and noodly stuff like you do in metal. Like maybe you have an idea on piano, or maybe you have an idea on like synthesizer, or like there's way more instruments.
We have
out there
a new single coming out in the next few months. That's an original that was written called it's called New Low. That song is very much acoustically driven with synth and piano, and then it builds into this huge rock ensemble. It's very theatrical. It really gets you in the feels. So
I knew nothing about that type of work, and it was my first time. And Topher had the perfect song for me to do it with.
Yeah, like everything he's usually up into pre-pro is always pretty much completed on an acoustic guitar setting.
Right.
When you hit pre-production, everything's basically structured on an acoustic guitar, and it's just 4 chords and the truth right there. And then Deven builds it into this huge ensemble, and on the production side. So.
Right.
Gotta be for yourself at home.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Well, that sounds awesome. I can't wait to check that out. And it's funny that you guys mention that, because you see, at least it seems like to me anyway, more and more rock bands, taking chances with different genres of music to do covers of various songs. And it seems like a lot of them, are like pop songs these days, or even country songs. And do you think these bands are kind of thinking along the same lines that you are, that they kind of want to break out a little bit and try, putting their own spin on some of these other genres?
Absolutely. I'd say you can kind of tell when there's like passion in it. For me, sometimes sometimes I'll hear a cover and it's kind of obvious that they're just trying to break or something. Mm-hmm. But like some of them, you can really hear the admiration for the original, and they're like, I want to try something way different in left field and just see what happens, like how I would have did it. And that's kind of what I had in mind. I think what we both had in mind when we did this one.
Yeah, there was some other outside influences on that one, especially, like with my upbringing, my mom was a big Fleetwood Mac fan. Mm-hmm. So it was a fun song for us to do. So it was easy for us to put our own spin on it, I think, because we don't want to be like, we've seen a lot of other people try to be really cut and dry with the original version. And there's quite a few other versions out there actually that are great. But I mean, like, I guess we wanted to be far different from any of the others, but also maintaining our identity through the process of it.
Yeah, just to kind of satisfy that so what.
Yeah, but also respecting, the song enough not to get screamy on it, or
right,
poppy, synth and stuff. Just kind of being straightforward rock and roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then how does that process work exactly? When you guys, decided, let's actually try and do a cover of Dreams, do you reach out to the band itself then, or their managers, and then you have to get permission, or how does that process work?
Actually, our distributor takes care of all of that. It's all in the paperwork. So when we get the songs rolling and sent out to everyone, mm-hmm. They ask, is it a cover song? And then, then we just say yes or no. And all it does is add an extra step. We pay a little bit of extra money, and then we get a license. They'll go ahead and file that, and then they'll send a license back to us, and then we'll have a physical, actual form that gives us permission to use the song, and then everything's taken care of by the distributor.
Yep, which means that any the original artists would reap royalties from anything that would be generated from that song itself.
Yep. Which in this case it's a distributor, because we're unsigned. We're trying to stay unsigned as long as possible until we get overwhelmed, and then we're like, all right, we need a label.
Okay. All right, that's cool. I've talked to other bands before and have always kind of wondered exactly how that process works. So that's interesting to get that insight into that particular process. So
very simple. Thank God. I was very like, am I gonna get sued?
Yeah, it was tough because we're gonna throw this one out there. But at the end of the day, it was all about just the fun of doing a fun cover song that we really enjoyed, and with a band we really respect, and love.
So what were we going to do as a cover? Savage Garden, I think.
Oh, yeah, we were actually going to do it. To the Moon and Back by Savage Garden. I'm a huge Savage Garden fan.
Take it to the moon and back.
Yeah, all right. Well, very cool.
I've been wanting to do a rock version of a Savage Garden song for some time.
Yeah, that's what it was going to be, and it ended up being Dreams.
Right, yeah. Continuing on with that Dreams cover, I was watching the music video before as well. Can you talk a little bit about what it was like putting that together? For instance, where exactly were you guys shooting that video?
That was at the Sanctuary Events Center in downtown Fargo, at the old church that they renovated into. They host events there. Actually, they have quite a few concerts there. I know Fozzie's performed there, Whiskey Myers.
Actually, it was Chris Jericho, that mic stand.
That mic stand. I was using Chris Jericho. Actually, it was bent. Chris Jericho leaned on it too hard, I guess. At one point. But yeah, they've had a lot of pretty good bands. I think Black Label Society or Zakk Wylde performed there. I mean, it's a beautiful venue. So we were able to get it for the afternoon and set up and do our thing.
We're headlining a show there in August, actually.
We are.
Yeah, that one was with Divide the Fall out of Minneapolis and Archers out of Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe you've heard of those boys.
Yes, we have actually. And I was going to ask you about that too, because if I read correctly, you guys are our neighbors from Minnesota.
Yep. We're originally from Minnesota. We're kind of two of us are living in Fargo at the moment, so it's kind of confusing as to where to put our basis, but it's like
Midwest, I would say. We're just going to call it Midwest as to not offend or tick off anyone that's helped us get as far as we have from our hometown. We definitely live in Fargo, but we all grew up in Minnesota. I grew up down by the cities. I was born in Fargo, but I grew up down by the cities and stuff like that, so we're all definitely Minnesota boys.
All small town. I'm from like Elbow Lake and that kind of area.
I'm from Dassel, Cokato.
All right, well, that's cool. I mean, that works nicely. Our radio station is in a small town in central Wisconsin, so we know what you're talking about when you talk about small towns.
Oh yeah. Not something I never pictured growing up and being into like rock music and all that stuff. I was originally like into fishing and I was a Minnesota boy as a kid.
Yeah, I always thought I was going to end up working on the railroad like my grandpa and my uncle before me.
Yep. But it turns out I'm not good at anything else. So
I'm with you there.
So here we are, several years later, and starting your own band.
Yep.
All right, That's cool. That's very cool, guys. Now, if people want to learn more about you guys, they want to check out that Dreams video or just the song itself, I assume they can do that in all the usual places, Facebook and all that good stuff?
Absolutely. Yep. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have a YouTube channel. We're also on TikTok that we just kind of got going. We're all kind of learning that one yet. So
the easiest place I would say is start with just check out the song, see if you like it, and then go to youtube.com/dearlydeparted. Very simple, and then all the links are going to be in the description. All of our content is up there. Our merch is dearlydepartedband.com. We try to so either youtube.com/dearlydeparted or dearlydepartedband.com, and all the info and everything related to that will be there.
Yeah, and we're also up on all the streaming services, so go ahead and ask your Alexa or anyone or whoever you got at home. iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify. We're pretty much everywhere at this point, so it should be easy to find us.
All right, excellent. That sounds good. Well, guys, I appreciate you taking time out of your afternoon here to speak with me, and we'll keep spinning that cover of yours, Dreams. We've been getting great response from it from our listeners out there, and we look forward to that first album from you. And then, like I said, if you ever happen to be Central Wisconsin way, feel free to give us a call and stop on by the station. We'd be happy to have you.
We will be popping on by one of these days, I would assume. And I'd like to let you guys all know as well that our first original under the new lineup, Waves, will be out on May 1st. And that one you won't want to miss.
All right.
Epic. I'm going to send that one your way.
Yeah, you're going to dig that tune.